Most of us aspire to get a good job, enjoy our spare time, and retire in comfort. And then there are the outliers. People doing weird and wonderful things and ignoring the whole system. This series is about pursuing dreams against all odds and with great success. It's about why some people choose no ordinary life. If you've ever driven along Highway 103 near Bridgewater, Nova Scotia, you may have noticed a very strange and colorful concrete structure on the side of the road. Well, that is Bernd Art Maze. It's the crazy dream come true of a man named Bernd Krebes. Now, Bernd dreamt of building this place long before he and his very supportive wife, Nicole, even moved to Nova Scotia. In fact, he drew up the plans over 25 years ago. And if I can just find my way out of here, I'll be able to chat with him about it. This way. Nope, no, I know where I'm going. Down here? Nope. Definitely this way.
Bernd drew the plan for the maze long time before we moved here, long time before we even knew that we would move to another country and that we would ever own a place where we could build it. And then when we came here and had that property and finally got really settled, he thought, I need a kick again. And then he said, I'm gonna build the maze. The maze is sort of our leisure time project. Sometimes it grows a little bit more than that, but yeah, in the summertime, every single minute of our free time, pretty much we spend here. We were looking for our own place, our own house, and in Germany, particularly in Bavaria, everything is so crowded and you're only allowed to build in a subdivision and every house has to look the same and things. We both agreed that's what we didn't want. And I wanted to go to a country where I could speak English because I love that language. And then it just happened that we picked Canada, and Nova Scotia seemed really the most appealing because the proximity to Europe. We never looked back. It was always a really good decision to come here. We have one rule with 3 things we don't want in the maze. That's politics, religion, and violence. There's enough of this in the world which makes people unhappy. And so we said, no, we keep that out. This should be a happy place. Before we started the maze, we met 2 young girls who were here on a work and travel visa. And they told us about the program, like it's called Workaway, it's online, and where hosts can advertise worldwide. And so we put an ad on Workaway and asked for young people or travelers or anybody interested actually coming here and help out with that project. And that drew most of the people here. And then there's also Facebook groups, and then word got around. So one visitor or one artist told the next one, and they brought people here again. And so it just spread. Because we have more land here and Bernd never will stop, we started with the new expansion already. We are turning the adjacent forests into a magical forest filled with sculptures and surprises. When we're here and people are visiting, we see how much joy it brings. Yeah, kids run around and we have a scavenger hunt, they look for things, and but also the adults. Actually, the adults spend more time in here exploring the art. So it just, yeah, you could feel it's a happy place. In the evening when nobody is around, we get the dogs and we go for a walk here. It's sort of like a sanctuary.
Bernd? Hello? There's nobody here. I think we have to go back in. Come on. Bernd? I'm sorry.
All right.
I didn't see you there.
Yeah.
You're Bernd.
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
What is going on in this head of yours?
I don't know.
I mean, you have built the most fantastic structure I have ever been in.
Thank you.
Did you love mazes when you were little? Has this been a lifelong dream? What is this
Well,
story?
I love mazes like I think all kids do.
Okay.
But we had it on paper. They were not real maze.
So you had
around.
never been in a real maze?
Well, now I am, but at that time there were mazes around.
Okay, so most little kids like enjoy playing with mazes or drawing
on paper. Yeah.
on paper.
Yeah.
But then they don't make the leap to like, I'm gonna make a giant one. I just keep wanting to ask why. Why, Bernd?
Why?
I mean, it's just,
Oh.
it's madness.
Yeah, but I think it's beautiful.
I think it's beautiful.
Thank
It's
you.
absolutely incredible. And the artwork that I am passing, I mean, around every corner, there's a surprise.
That's good. Yeah.
Have you had a hand in all of the pieces that we see?
In most of it, not in all, because if somebody stayed longer than 3 or 4 weeks, they started to do on their own,
Okay.
more or less. Yeah.
So even though you're getting workers from all over the world, you're also training them?
Yeah, that's the idea.
So what I would love is if you would show me a couple of the pieces that you just really love and want to share with the world.
Sure.
Awesome.
Okay. Let's
This
go.
way or
This
that way?
Yep.
Or-
Go this way. Yeah.
Bernd, what is this place? Whoa!
That's the cave. And there's the cave painting on the wall, which tells the story about the maze.
Oh my gosh, you have done your own prehistoric cave art.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see.
Can you tell? Like, can you...
Okay, is that you?
Yeah.
All right, there's Bernd. The original plan?
Mm-hmm. That's like
moons?
many moons ago. That's Nicole, me,
Yep.
and our dog.
Oh, and then okay, I feel like I can read this one. Is this all the many hands
Yeah.
that helped you out?
Yeah.
That's beautiful. What is that mushroom on the wall?
Well, the mushroom is actually leads you to the parking spot. From the highway, you see the maze.
Yes, you see it clearly every time
Yes.
you go by.
But then you have to go to the other road.
Yes,
And then you don't see anything anymore.
and then it's
But
hidden.
you see the mushroom.
Right, I
And
did
this
see
leads
that.
you into the maze.
It certainly does. Oh, I didn't see that. Okay.
Yeah.
I noticed
think-
there's a spider out in the maze.
Yeah.
So is that a very symbolic?
It represents the spider made all the netting. And if you look at the spider up in the entrance,
Yep.
you can see that the netting actually is connected.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. What is this about?
Well, that's a mosaic man smoking a cigarette.
It is beautiful. I
Thank-
mean, is that one of your pieces?
Yeah, and the funny part is actually you have to go like you shouldn't be too close to it. You should stay back,
Yeah.
and then you see the whole picture. My drawing, when I make, I throw it on the wall, and then I draw the stuff out with a marker
Oh, so you draw it on first.
on the wall.
Yeah.
Because you can't do it while you be here. If you be here and do this,
Yeah.
you look crazy.
You're too
You
close.
can't see it.
You can't see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why you have to mark it all, and then you mark the white, gray, and the black if you have the three colors.
Yeah.
And on the next day you come in and then everything is on there. You have all the fields are marked white, gray, or black, and then you come and just do that.
And then you come in and just trust what you were drawing
Yeah.
out, and then do you keep stepping back, or do you lay all the tiles at
No,
once?
I do step back just to make sure, but you rely on the drawing.
Wow, this is just a very powerful piece of art.
Thank you.
I made it! That was awesome. It was like being inside an artist's brain. And now Nicole is going to show me a different side of what they do here.
This is our latest creation. We built that replica of a life-size baby whale for the project Sculpture and the Canadian Wildlife Federation. It's meant to go to beach cleanups and get filled with garbage. That's why it has a hole in the belly.
Oh, so you
We
take all the trash and fill it
dump
up.
yes.
And then
Because it's there to raise awareness of the dying whale population. The
Wow.
most common cause of death is entanglement in fishing gear or ship strikes. But this baby was born while his mother, her name is Snow Cone, was entangled in fishing gear.
wait, so when you say replica, this isn't just of any whale.
No, it's
This is
an
of a real
actual
baby whale.
baby whale which was spotted in our sea.
So it gets all filled up with trash. I'm imagining lots
Yes.
and lots, and then you use that as sort of activist art.
Yeah.
I'm smiling because I can see that it's really effective,
Yeah.
you know, and that is optimistic. You've found a way to raise people's awareness, and you know, you can't miss this. You know, there's no mistaking the message. Are you wondering why I'm dressed as a witch and riding an electric broomstick? Well, it's because I have met the guy who made this and many other extraordinary things, and he's invited us to his mad secret lab to play with some of them. So actually, Scott, we're gonna have to cut. We can't record here, it's secret. Yeah, okay. I think it's this way. Hello?
If you want to run your camera, it's not that secret. You can go ahead.
Sweet, all right, let's roll.
I live in a small town, rural Nova Scotia, and it's almost like I got a personal project, which is how much of a difference can one creative person make in a small town? Keep doing stuff and then realize, wait a minute, if one person can have this much of an effect, imagine if there was 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 other people. Imagine the effect it could have on a group. I worked in advertising for years, worked in the creative department, had ideas all the time of like, you know what? For Christmas, we should do a giant stocking, make it the world's largest stocking. And they're like, well, who's gonna make it? Well, I will. Maybe we'll hire somebody else. And there was always a reason not to do these ideas. So I left them and I was doing freelance and I went, you know what? Those ideas that people never asked me for, but I thought were good, what if I just started making them? So I just started making them. And then all of a sudden, people looked at the final product and went, that's pretty good. Let's do that. And then it's been like that ever since. Sometimes you gotta say yes to something that you never know how it's gonna turn out, but so what? There was a couple of years where the transition wasn't fun. Wasn't fun at all. It didn't pay a lot of bills. So my creative process is, if I really, really, really like it, probably there's a lot of other people out there that will like it a lot too. And if you just build it, you discover, yeah, they really do. Like in advertising, they say, we have a problem here. What can we do to solve that problem? and then you will solve that problem. And people might like it or might not, but if you kind of flip the script and go, you know what? People would love to see a miniature Dartmouth ferry. I just know, because it's something I would want to see. When other people like it, like when people walk in and they're like, oh, look at that. That reaction just kind of validates everything that I've been doing. So it's kind of like, I don't know, I got a 6-foot-tall bicycle, and every time I pull that out and drive it down the street, people honk and they smile and they wave, and there's no monetary, compensation, and I don't care, because every decision you make just for money is probably one of the worst decisions in your life. Everything I've built and will build is all built on failure, because if you build something and it doesn't work, you'll figure out a way to make it work, and by the end of it, you've got something that's really neat. Plus, you've learned a whole lot of skills that you probably didn't know before you started that project that you can carry forward to the next project. If you stay in the moment and keep making the things that make you happy right now, by the end of it, you'll have your long-term plan. You just don't know where it goes. Went to art college, but I've always loved engineering, right? My dad's a mechanic, brother's a mechanic. Kind of came from the, if you can't go out and buy it, well then make it. Or if you have one that's broken, then fix it. I think the biggest character trait for what I do is just curiosity.
I can safely say this is a first for me.
First, what, moving chicken leg?
Moving a giant drumstick. What is this thing?
So this is the leg.
Yep.
We kind of designed it on the fly. We did a little sketch, like literally just a cartoon sketch. And it's just the design that seemed to work. And so we got our cute little plumber's pipe toes.
And her little claws. I love that they're like soft and round.
Yes,
Not
very
sharp and spiky.
No, it's not a spiky thing. This was meant for kids to be, I don't know, empowered. If kids come in and saw it, we're like, oh my God. And then you say, do you want to drive them? They'd be like, I can do that? Yeah. So they walk up the back, grab hold of the controls, and they control the head and the neck, and they bring it to life. And that, for a kid,
It's a big deal.
it's a big deal. It's pretty cool.
I love the way your brain works.
I gotta admit, when I was done with them, I was really, really happy with them.
I would be very
'Cause,
proud of this. And you were not a welder or anything.
No, I learned to weld from YouTube. Thank you, YouTube. Again, it's one of those things you don't look at the skills you have and go, what projects can I do? You go, what projects do I want to do? And now what skills do I need to learn to do that project?
Now, is that normal thinking to you? Because even as you said that sentence, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. What skills do I have? So what could I build?
Yeah, well...
And you're just completely flipping it on its head. You're just playing all the time.
Pretty much.
Were you always like that? Or was this just something, like, did you just burst out of your last serious job, like, I'm never doing that again? Or has this always been a part of who you are?
Probably always been a part of who I am, but at every point in your life, you're going to hit a realization where you go, I don't want to be told what to do anymore.
Yeah.
Like, those limits and those rules, growing up, you kind of, because it's pretty much forced on you. You accept them as being, these are the guidelines, these are the rules, these are the things. And then later on you go, are they the rules? Are you sure? Mm-hmm. What if we don't deal with those and we do it anyway? All of a sudden you realize, well, there's a different set of rules. And then you look at those rules and you go, are there really rules? Really? Let's just put those aside and keep moving on. And you realize there's no rules. But generally, there's no good reason not to do it. Just do it. It's like the Nike thing.
I feel like if I follow your advice, my whole life is just going to be like this, and then this, and then this, and then this.
You'd probably end up being a host of a local TV show. I don't know.
Wouldn't that be weird?
Most of what I do is geared to putting a smile on somebody else's face.
Yeah. It's like you're the Willy Wonka of like the engineering, creative build world.
It's the art that drives all the other components.
Yes, it certainly is. Art is bringing the imagination, giving the imagination free rein.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I denied that title for the longest time, like artist. I thought just, like, I went to art college and I saw a lot of stuff being passed off as art. I'm like, are you sure?
Like a giant dinosaur leg
See,
made out
it didn't
of
start as
steel.
art, but I think it is art.
It is art. Of course it's art.
A little rusty, so I got to clean them up a little bit.
This one actually works?
Yeah.
Well,
You want to drive it?
could I take it for a spin?
Sure.
All right, let's put it together. You know what? I think this is a job for a lefty. You all right in there? Jeez, that worked. Drum roll, please! She's alive! Whoa! I'm in control! I'm an Imagineer!
That's good, right there.
Why do you have a fleet of tiny vehicles?
Because I want them? That's the short answer, but really there's a longer answer to each one, because there's a reason for each one to be here.
Oh my goodness. So there's a market for this?
You wouldn't think it,
No!
but there is. Here's the crazy thing. Again, if you have something big and make it small,
Yes.
it's interesting.
It is so pleasing.
And because the ferry is something everybody's familiar with, you've probably ridden on it. When you make it smaller, people want to pull out their phone, get a picture with it, get a video, have their kids stand next to it, smile and wave.
Just want to be around it. I love it.
They do.
So let me look inside. What is this? What did you use?
Right, so that's a tractor seat because it hugs your butt.
Yeah.
But the guts of it was an electric scooter. And to make a long story short, I knew I'd have to have a lot of turning capacity for this, so I had to make it rear wheel steer, which meant chop the scooter in half, flip everything around, grab some old lawn tractor parts and a ship's wheel and make it work. And you end up with a ferry that still has suspension.
That's amazing. And tell me about this one, which is so pleasing because again, you've gone opposites. Like this is like hard but soft somehow.
This one's still new, near and dear to my heart.
Is it?
Yeah. I mean, this is the best it's ever going to look because it's brand new.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, but
so what was this one for?
This is at the time when Spring Garden Road had ripped up their street. And remember they pulled up the rails? Mm-hmm. This is what used to ride on those rails.
Wow.
So when my client said they pulled up some of these rails, I was like, well, we should build one of these one day. And then somebody else came out of the woodwork and was like, you're the perfect client for this because they're the transit union. And this tells the story, or it's going to help tell the story of how the union helped build the city. So this is, again, the true story behind this is to tell the bigger story of transit union workers throughout the years.
Very inspired. And what about this one?
That is a miniature VW hot rod bus.
Yes, it is.
This was built, again, another client, they wanted to talk about parking on Spring Garden Road because they get a lot of parkades and just the space to park on the street is getting less and less and less. So rather than buy a whole bunch of social media or ads and radio stuff to talk about parking, we built this. We put signage on the side to talk about parking, and then we did a bunch of our own social media videos and pretty much spread the word about the parking. And the cool thing is, even though it's a pretty boring message, if you drive up and down Spring Garden Road sitting in this
is not boring.
again, people will come out of their offices in the buildings and they'll come out and go, can we get a picture?
All right, so these things road ready by any chance?
You want to drive one?
I was hoping you would ask.
You want to drive this one?
Yes.